It was Elijah's first day at Roosevelt High. The cold February wind bit through his jacket as he walked up the steps, alone, his heart pounding harder than it had during the move from Atlanta. He had left everything behind: his friends, his old school, his basketball team. Now, in this mostly white town in northern Michigan, he felt like a target long before the first bell rang. The first thing Elijah noticed wasn't the building, it was the stairs. Not curious stares. Cold ones. Judgmental. Like he didn't belong. Inside the hallway, the noise was deafening. Laughter, lockers slamming, shoes squeaking. Elijah kept his head low, trying to find his way to homeroom. That's when it started. "Hey, new kid, you lost," a voice shouted. 3 boys stood blocking his path. Tall, Letterman jackets. Smirks stretched across their faces like they'd been waiting all morning for someone like him to walk in. Elijah hesitated. "Nah, I'm good." The tallest one, Brock, stepped forward. "Where you from? Gonna teach us how to rap? Or maybe steal our lunch money?" The words hit like a slap. Elijah had heard that tone before. Back in Georgia, people like that were louder but easier to avoid. Here, the racism was quiet. Casual. Dangerous. He clenched his jaw and kept walking, refusing to give them the reaction they wanted. But that wasn't the end. Over the next few days, things got worse. They shoved books from his hands in the halls. Called him names under their breath. Sneered at his accent. Even his teacher, Mr. Conrad, seemed to ignore it all, choosing silence over discomfort. Elijah felt invisible when he needed someone to see him the most. But Elijah had something most of them didn't: fire. A quiet, burning strength his grandmother had planted in him with every bedtime story of black heroes and fighters. Harriet, Malcolm, his own father, who had worked 2 jobs just to get him into a better school. That fire wouldn't let him break. One day, in gym class, Coach Taylor threw everyone into a game of basketball. Elijah didn't want to stand out, but once the ball hit his hands, instinct took over. He moved like water. Fast, sharp, unstoppable. The same boys who mocked him now tried, and failed, to stop him on the court. He didn't taunt, didn't brag. Just played. Clean. Focused. Let his game speak. By the end of class, the gym was silent except for the sound of Brock panting on the floor after Elijah had crossed him up and sunk a final 3-pointer. Still, they didn't stop bullying him. Instead, they got sneakier. Nasty notes in his locker. A slashed backpack. Rumors. One day, Elijah found the word, monkey, scrawled across his locker in black marker. He stared at it for a long time, his hands shaking. He wanted to explode. Break something. Scream. But instead, he walked to the principal's office and stood tall. "I'm not here to beg," he said, his voice steady. "I'm here to be heard. You let this happen. You all did." At first, Principal Harris, a middle-aged white man with tired eyes, tried to brush it off. "These things, they happen," he said. "No," Elijah replied, his voice louder now. "They happen because you let them." Something in Elijah's words cracked the room open. A teacher, Ms. Darnell, overheard. She was young, quiet, but she stood up that day, too. She asked Elijah to share what had been going on in a school board meeting. He did. One voice turned into 5. Then 10. Students started speaking out. About racism, about silence, about what it was like to be the only in a school full of people pretending not to see. Others came forward too: Latino kids, Asian kids, even white students who felt bullied for being different. A movement began. It started with an anti-bullying assembly, then led to a Black History Month showcase, organized by Elijah himself. He spoke in front of the entire school, trembling at first, then rising into confidence. His words weren't about anger, but power. About resilience. About rising when others want to keep you down. He talked about his grandmother's stories, about coming to this school afraid, and about finding strength when no one gave it to him. "I'm not angry at you," he said, looking out at the sea of students. "I just want you to see me." That day changed everything. Brock and his crew were disciplined. But more importantly, they were confronted by students who no longer stayed silent. Some of them even apologized, unsure, awkward, but real. Elijah didn't forget the pain, but he didn't let it define him either. By the end of the year, he had started a student-led diversity council. He was voted team captain of the basketball squad. He even helped rewrite the school's bullying and discrimination policies, with the help of Principal Harris, who finally listened. Elijah didn't just survive Roosevelt High. He transformed it. The boy they picked on became the leader they never saw coming. And though he still missed Atlanta sometimes, he knew this: he was meant to walk through those halls. Not to suffer, but to rise. Because when they tried to break him, they made the biggest mistake of all. They woke up a fire that could never be put out.